What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome in to another edition of Underground Sports Philadelphia, presented by the City of Vineland. It's KB coming at you solo dolo, because that's effectively what this show has turned into, is my own solo Philly sports podcast, where I break down everything going on in our lives with Philly sports. It's episode number 650 of this podcast. We're going to talk Phils, and we're going to talk the Sixers. Listening to the pod, shout out to Daryl Morey. He listens to the podcast still, apparently, even though he unfollowed me on Twitter, and they drafted my guy, Jared McCain, is a Philadelphia 76er. We'll talk all about that. But before we get into all the good things here on this episode, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at UndergroundPHI, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook.com/UndergroundSportsPHI, Twitch.tv/UndergroundSportsPHI. You can follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311 and KBIZZLE11 on Instagram and Threads. And also connect with us on LinkedIn. We're on LinkedIn. Just search Underground Sports Philadelphia. You can connect with me as well. Would love to network with a bunch of people in the Philly sports and entertainment spaces, and not just Philly sports, but sports in general. Want to build up our presence on LinkedIn for sure, so connect with us over there as well. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave a 5-star rating and review. It really does go a long way for helping the show continue to grow, helps more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia, lets us hit new milestones. And, you know, we're on a tear right now. Let's build this community up, and let's keep talking Philly sports in a positive way, as we should be. So keep subscribing on Apple and Spotify. And, of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week. You get full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It's all on our YouTube channel. We're at 809 subscribers as of this recording. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, leave a comment down below, and so you don't miss out on any future videos, ring the bell icon, shout out to the Phils, so you get notified on your device of choice whenever new videos are on the channel. And of course, guys, this show is presented by the City of Vineland, and the City of Vineland municipal calendar features city-organized, city-sponsored, and city-affiliated events that are of public interest. The calendar, which is accessible at vinelandcity.org, is a good way for residents and visitors to build awareness, remain engaged with city government, and participate in local events. You can also follow the City of Vineland on social media via their Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube pages. And through these tools, you can stay connected to the community and get important announcements about programs and services offered by the city. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the Fightin' Phils win yet another series as they take down the Detroit Tigers in a little mini road trip, 2-1. Monday, big-time win, 8-1 over the Tigers. And then on Tuesday, they take down they lose to the Tigers, and then on Wednesday, the getaway day, they win 6-2. Big-time performance on Monday from the boys as, one run, Aaron Nola, 6 hits, 6 strikeouts, 7 strong innings. Michael Mercado makes his major league debut. Orion Kerkering shuts the door on everything. Bryce Harper, Alec Boehm hit some dingers and do the damn thing there. Wasn't a great Tuesday game for the Phils. Ranger Suarez kind of just missing his mark, gave up 8 hits, 2 earned runs. The Phils offense is talented enough, though, that they should be able to make up for that. There was 2 unearned runs as well that came across to score. Ranger only had 4 strikeouts in this game. Sir Anthony Dominguez and Gregory Soto also pitched. The lone home run from Bryce Harper there that was in the 9th inning. But the Phillies are far more talented and should not be only mustering up 1 run in a game and be able to beat a team like the Tigers. But they came back with a vengeance. Brandon Marsh hits a home run on Wednesday. Spencer Turnbull goes 3 innings, unfortunately injured, and, hopefully he'll be okay, for later on in the season, but I wouldn't want to rush him back at any stretch. Gregory Soto, Jose Ruiz, Matt Strahm, Orion Kirkring, Jeff Hoffman, Jose Alvarado all come in relief, 1 inning apiece for all of those guys to slam the door shut and take the series W against the Tigers. The Phillies have the best record in baseball. They're the best team in baseball, and that's what matters. And before I keep going, you can look your best and stand out in the crowd when you go to visit our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company to rep the Fightin' Phils and rep Underground Sports Philadelphia all season long. You can do that with our awesome merch partners, PHI Apparel Company. When you go to phiapparel.co, check out all the awesome apparel they have from the Phillies, the Eagles, the Flyers, the Sixers, the Union, and, of course, Underground Sports Philadelphia. Fill up your cart, gear up for the summer. It's never too late. phiapparel.co, and when you go to checkout, use code UNDERGROUND, and you get 10% off your merch order. Most effective and direct way to support everything we're doing here. So go stand out in the crowd and go to phiapparel.co and use code UNDERGROUND for 10% off your merch order. I mean, the Phillies won a series against a bad team. The Tigers, they've been hovering around 500 most of the season, but this is a team that the Phillies absolutely should be beating. And now you come home, hopefully get some home cooking before you go back out on the road and play a Marlins team that has been not very good whatsoever. And hopefully take care of business there before you go on the road to play the Cubs and the Braves over 4th of July weekend and to kick off the month of July. But I feel okay. Taijuan Walker, Spencer Turnbull injuries, not ideal for the rotation, but we'll see how things play out there. I did recently, if I'm not mistaken, put out my wish list, if you will, for the Phillies at the trade deadline. I know we're about a month away, a little over a month away, if you will. So let's see here. My wish list for the Fightin' Phils. Where is my list? Here it is. Yeah, I put this list out a couple days ago. This was after I laid out the idea of the Hector Neris and Ian Happ trade. Obviously, Luis Robert Jr. is like your white whale. That's who you want to get to really fill the void in this lineup that extends your bench and makes this team better with runners in scoring position just based off of the pure power alone that Luis Robert Jr. provides. He's my number one white whale. Do what you got to do to get him here, because I think if you get him out of a situation like he's in with the Chicago White Sox, he becomes a better player on merit alone from that, where like he's not in this mindset of losing and he's ready to take charge and ready to be part of something special. Like I mentioned on a previous episode, either last episode or episode before, Ian Happ, Hector Neris, Tanner Scott is somebody that makes a lot of sense for this Phillies team. Not that the bullpen is bad. We know this bullpen has been spectacular. They're a top 5 bullpen in baseball, but why not make them better? Why not lengthen this bullpen that much more? Going and getting somebody like Tanner Scott from the Marlins makes a ton of sense, and I think if you're the Phillies, you want to make it so you're not giving up as much. You know, Tanner Scott's an elite reliever this year. If I pull up his numbers here, Tanner Scott, and I'll pull up how long he's under contract for as well. Tanner Scott this season. Also weird that I'm older than Tanner Scott by a year. But Tanner Scott this year, he's 6-5 with a 1.50 ERA, 12 saves. He wouldn't have to be necessarily your closer on this team, which is nice for him, I think. And you're just providing a lethal left-handed arm out of the bullpen as well to go along with Matt Strahm, Jose Alvarado, and bang, bang, bang. You have 3 elite left-handed hitters or pitchers in your bullpen. Tanner Scott, let's see. I mean, is he having... I mean, he's arguably having the best 2-year run of his career from last year and this year with the Marlins. And I think if you get Caleb Cotham's hands on him, the sky's the limit for what he's going to be able to do. Pulling up Tanner Scott's contract is the thing I want to do just to see how long. So he's on a 1-year deal. It's an expiring deal. The Marlins, I think, would be stupid to not cash in on Tanner Scott and get something of value in return. Now, if you're the Phillies, if you are Dave Dombrowski, if you're Sam Fuld, you want to alleviate the amount of high-quality caliber that you're sending to a division rival, no less, that is clearly signaling a rebuild by trading their number 1 asset earlier this season in Luis Arraez well before the trade deadline, which I think was a mistake on their part. But maybe if you're the Phillies, you say, hey, we're going to ask for Tanner Scott and a Jazz Chisholm Jr. We're going to ask for Tanner Scott and a Josh Bell. We're going to ask for, let's pull up this Marlins roster here. Let's see. Brian De La Cruz even as a fourth outfielder that really lengthens your outfield, a guy who can hit for average to a degree. He's a 250-ish hitter, hits for power, can drive runs in. Maybe that's a guy that you add into the mix here and say, okay, we're taking on, a contract or a player that you clearly want to relieve yourself of. We're going to counter with this. So looking here, like Josh Bell would make a ton of sense. I don't think Jake Berger would. I don't know what his contract situation is like per se. But I don't know if Jake Berger is somebody the Phillies would necessarily want to take on. Maybe he'd be a great bat off the bench for sure. But I also think Josh Bell adds a little bit more volatility because he is a switch hitter. And you remove Josh Bell from any other team acquiring him and doing damage against you because he tends to just do that all the time. I also don't think Jake Berger makes a ton of sense because you have Edmundo Sosa already backing up Alec Boehm at third base, and he's primarily a third baseman with the Miami Marlins. Brian De La Cruz is definitely somebody that's interesting to me. I don't know if the Marlins would trade him. I would love him in a Phillies uniform. He's only 27 years old. He is under contract. Let's see. He's on a 1-year, $768,000 deal with the Marlins. So he hits arbitration next year. It's an interesting conundrum. I don't know if the Marlins want to move on from him. I mean, he's in his prime, so maybe you want to cash in on a guy who maybe has years of control and, will be in his prime during years that you're in a down and rebuilding era of your team, or maybe they hold on to him and say, hey, maybe we feel like we can still capitalize on what he's good at and what he can do for this team. So that's definitely something that's interesting. I would love Brian De La Cruz on this team. I think he's a very good baseball player. But, maybe it is, a Tanner Scott and a Jazz Chisholm. I don't know what Jazz's contract looks like. But, Jazz is a guy that I think a lot of Marlins fans are ready to move on from. And I think there was a lot of unfair expectation placed on the shoulders of Jazz Chisholm. He's 26 years old. He's hitting .259 this season. Has 10 home runs, 4 triples, 12 doubles. I think Jazz Chisholm is a valuable player. Like, I think he can do a lot of things that would help this Phillies team. He's versatile, can play the infield and the outfield. He's certainly better than Whit Merrifield is right now. And I mean, Jazz is under contract through this year, I think, before he hits year 2 of arbitration. I mean, Jazz becomes an unrestricted free agent in 2027. The Marlins are not going to be anywhere close to competing by then. I think if you're the Phillies and you're Dave Dombrowski, you relieve yourself of Whit Merrifield, right that wrong, bring in a Tanner Scott and a Jazz Chisholm. Jazz infinitely increases your production as your utility infielder outfielder that Whit Merrifield was supposed to be, at a cheaper cost. And if you want to re-sign him, you can. If not, you go to arbitration with him and he's under contract for like minimum amounts of money for the next 2 years. I think Jazz Chisholm is somebody that a lot of Phillies fans view as like this guy on the Marlins who got overhyped and is not a good player, but I think he's far more talented than a lot of people give him credit for. And I think he's a guy that needs a change of scenery. And, he's fun. And I think if you put him in an environment like this Phillies clubhouse where he's not expected to be the guy, he's got all of that burden off of his shoulders by coming into a clubhouse like this. Jazz Chisholm would be a lot of fun on this team, and I think he would fit into the culture really, really well. And, he plays well at Citizens Bank Park. And, there's going to be moments that frustrate you with him, but he's going to hit anywhere from 255 to 275, 280, give you 15 and at his peak like 20 home runs if he's hitting extremely well and dialed in. And that's a player that the Phillies don't have right now, and they expected Whit Merrifield to be. And, looking at Jazz's career, 2022, he hit 14 home runs. 2023, he hit 19. He's got 10 already this year. He hit 20 in 2020, or I'm sorry, he hit 18 in 2021. So like he can hit for power, he can drive runs in, and if you put him in a situation like this Phillies team that has a bunch of talent around him, it allows you to have versatility in the infield. He can play second base, he can play shortstop, he can play center field. I think Jazz Chisholm is a puzzle piece that fits perfectly onto this Phillies team, and not enough people are talking about it. So I'd be all in on a Jazz Chisholm to the Phillies move. I also really like Tyler Anderson as somebody who can fill in at that fifth starter role right now. You don't know how long Spencer Turnbull's truly going to miss. You don't know how long Taijuan Walker's going to miss. And I think if you can get a reliable starter like that, that would be fantastic for you. I also like the idea of bringing in somebody like a Zach Eflin back into the fold. Bring him home. The Rays are not good. He's in the final year of this deal. So maybe he's got one more year after this year. He's 30 years old. And let's see. Eflin. He definitely signed like a 3-year deal with the Tampa Bay Rays, and this is year 2. If I'm not mistaken. This is great for podcasting. Yeah, here we go. So he signed as a free agent in 2022. So last year was year 1. This is year 2. And his contract with Tampa Bay runs through 2025. So he's under contract the rest of this year and then next year for $18 million. that's a drop in the bucket, honestly. And, who knows if Turnbull comes back next year. He's on a 1-year, $2 million deal. Taijuan Walker, who knows what that situation's going to be. I mean, Eflin can pitch out of the bullpen as well in October. I think he makes so much sense for this team, and I don't think you'd have to give up that much because of the contract. It makes a lot of sense, guys. It makes a lot of sense, and he fits into this culture with this team. The guys love him. Him and Aaron Nola are best friends, and I think if you can dish out a rotation when fully healthy of Wheeler, Nola, Ranger, Christopher Sanchez, Zach Eflin, sounds pretty ideal to me. But let me know what you guys think about my wish list here. Obviously, not all of these guys are going to be acquired by the Phillies at the deadline, but Luis Robert, Ian Happ, Hector Neris, Tanner Scott, Jazz Chisholm, Tyler Anderson, Zach Eflin. Let me know who your top 3 would be in the comment section. Would love to hear if there's anybody that I missed potentially that you're looking at for the Phillies that would, pique your fancy, if you will. But let me know in the YouTube comment section who you want the Phillies to go and get at the trade deadline and who you would add to the underground wish list. Before I keep it pushing, I do want to talk to you guys about a couple people, some awesome people that are in the fold here at Underground Sports Philadelphia. Number one, it's ourselves. Yes, we have a new project coming out on the network, and it is called Light the Flame, an Olympics podcast, which is where all of your favorite Underground Sports Philadelphia personalities will come together to discuss, banter, and break down the Olympic Games in podcast and video form. Myself, Stephen McAvoy, DJ, Patty Pitts, Casey and Owen, Christian, the whole crew. We're coming together, and we are going to be breaking down the Olympics on a very fun, new podcast project coming to you very, very soon. The trailer is out now on Apple and Spotify, so definitely go check that out. Subscribe and leave a 5-star review. Be a friend, tell a friend. Tell them to subscribe, and we are looking forward to covering the Olympic Games here on Underground Sports Philadelphia. So definitely go subscribe to Light the Flame and Olympics podcast wherever you get your podcasts, especially Apple and Spotify. It will be on other platforms in the near future. We're working on just getting it approved on those platforms, but Apple and Spotify right now. It'll also be in video form. We're not sure if it'll be live stream or recorded video, but it will be on our YouTube channel as well, so subscribe there. But yeah, looking forward to Light the Flame and Olympics podcast every 4 years for the summer, every 4 years for the winter. We're doing it all. I'm very excited to add it to our library of podcasts. I also want to talk to you guys about our awesome beer partners, Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's a refreshing light beer, just 4.1% ABV, 120 calories, just 8 grams of carbs. You guys can go to kenwoodbeer.com and use the Kenny Finder to see who's got Kenwood Beer on tap in the Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Maryland, New Jersey, and Delaware areas. You can also get it at your local liquor stores in those markets. Check out the Kenny storefront as well, where they've got the awesome pint glasses, great apparel, and if you're going to the Mann Center at all this summer, the Tall Boy Kennys are on tap at the Mann Center. So definitely, if you're going to the Mann Center for a concert, an event, get a Tall Boy Kenny, tag Kenwood Beer, tag us. We want to see where you're drinking those ice-cold Kennys across the map from. Must be 21 or older to do so, and of course, please drink responsibly. Let's shift gears to night 1 of the NBA draft, as the Sixers drafted my guy, Jared McCain, out of Duke, and it is brought to you by our pals over at FOCO, the leaders in forever collectibles. Guys, you know I've been rocking the Phillies overalls. I'm working on getting my shortalls. We have a Jason Kelsey Mummers bobblehead that'll be behind me soon that I can't wait to have in the studio. They've got awesome summer apparel, from sun hats to flip-flops to, beach shoes, apparel, overalls, sunglasses, and of course they are obviously known for their incredible bobbleheads. FOCO is the leading distributor in officially licensed MLB, NBA, NHL, NFL, college football and basketball, WWE, MLS collectibles. They are truly the best and have a gigantic catalog of forever collectibles that you can add to your collections today. Click the link in the description and check out everything FOCO has to offer. Shout out to FOCO for sponsoring the pod. Jared McCain is a Sixer, guys. He's a Sixer. We're 2 days into college, and we're 3 lectures behind. I can't wait to watch this dude play basketball for the Sixers. He is truly just a light. He is awesome. And if you have anything negative to say because he paints his nails or because he makes TikTok videos, he dances on TikTok, go fuck yourself. Jared McCain is a hooper. And guess what? None of you were making a big stink when the Philadelphia Eagles offensive lineman went into the booth and recorded multiple holiday albums. Same thing goes here. Jared McCain is fucking awesome. He's going to be such an awesome addition to this roster. Can shoot close to 40% from 3. He's going to fit this culture so well with Tyrese, Maxey, and Joel Embiid. And he's a guy that you should just truly like gravitate towards and embrace. Like, he is so lovable and such a genuine human being. I truly like cannot overstate how awesome Jared McCain is. And you know, while he was at Duke last year, played in 36 games, averaged 31.6 minutes per game, shot 46% from the field, 41% from 3. 89% free throw shooter, 5 rebounds a game, almost 2 assists per game, almost a little over 1 steal per game, and averaged 14.3 points per game on a very talented Duke roster as a freshman. And that falls to 16 into your laps. I mean, I'm ecstatic about adding somebody like Jared McCain to this roster. He is going to bring so much talent to a roster that lacked shooting ability outside of Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid and at parts of last season, Nico Batum. You know, Buddy Hield had stretches where he was invisible. To add somebody like this who is young, a controllable asset, can really, you know, open things up on the floor for you. Jared McCain is the ideal player for this Sixers roster from this draft and is arguably the best shooter in the draft. And you got him at pick 16. He's everything and then some that this team needs, and I couldn't be more excited. I think we got an absolute steal with him. I think he is going to light up the floor from 3. He's going to shoot super well. He's going to be able to, you know, go get rebounds. I think if he can learn to distribute the ball a little bit more too, to make himself just that much more versatile when Maxey's not on the floor with him, it'll be really, really a good addition to this team. And like the crotchety fucks online that just want to spew hatred and just be absolute incels because the dude has a personality is beyond me. Like, who gives a fuck that the guy paints his nails? Dennis Rodman did it and won multiple championships in his NBA career. If Dennis Rodman played today, people would lose their fucking minds. Jared McCain is just having fun, and it's okay to have hobbies outside of what you do for your career. That's what we have to remember, guys. Like, these people are human, and like, as unreal as it is that they get to play a sport as their career, it's their career. It's their job. It's okay to have hobbies and to have fun outside of your job, even if your job is fun. It blows my mind that that's where we are right now. Jared McCain has an open invite to come on this show anytime he wants, by the way. Anytime. Because that dude is special. I loved watching him play at Duke. And I think he's going to add such a new dimension to this team off the bench when he's in, for Tyrese Maxey, whether he's playing alongside Tyrese Maxey. I think he's going to fit super well with Joel Embiid. You can't find a better player at pick 16, no less, in a draft that was so depleted of talent. It's being regarded as like the worst draft ever because the number one pick is being viewed as a 3-and-D role player long term. To get a guy like Jared McCain in a draft like this in the late teens could end up being the steal of the draft. And when we look 5 years down the line from now, we could be talking about Jared McCain being the best player from this draft. Who knows? I'm not saying he will be. It would be awesome if he is. But with the way that this draft played out and the way people are talking about these early prospects from the early portion of the first round, who's to say Jared McCain can't turn out to be the best player in this draft? Daryl Morey said after they drafted him, they had a top 10 grade on him. Dude is super special, super talented. I love everything he's about. Would love to have him on the show. And I think he's going to be a dynamic player for this Sixers team. And I think this is I'm not saying to be all back in on the Sixers and cash in the chips that they're going to win the championship, but I think this is a great first step in not buying people back in, but a great first step in rebalancing the culture of this team and, the headaches that were the last 3 years. From the Hawks series to trading Ben Simmons for James Harden to losing Game 7 against the Celtics to the entire debacle that was this past season. I think Jared McCain is the perfect first palate cleanser to getting Sixers fans interested again. Now, there's a lot to be done in free agency, a lot to do, post-draft season to build out this roster. But we'll see how that all shakes out when it comes in the next couple of days. But I think Jared McCain is a perfect first step for the 2024-2025 Philadelphia 76ers, and I'm ecstatic and over the moon that he's here. Welcome to Philly, brother. Can't wait to watch you hoop and hopefully get you on the show someday. Let's ride. We'll be back on Sunday to recap a whole bunch of stuff, and then next Wednesday, because on Friday I'll be at Jamil Demby's 4th annual youth football camp. I'll be recording something with him there. That will come out on Wednesday, on Wednesday's episode. So a week from now, the return of Jamil Demby on the pod. Very excited for that. And we're working on another big special guest and scheduling it all out, but you'll know about that when the time comes. But I'll be back on Sunday recapping the fight in Phils, seeing how the rest of the NBA draft shakes out, and free agency will be open. And we'll also recap the Water Dogs, hopefully getting a dub in Minneapolis and turning their season around as they look for their first win of 2024 and their first win under Bill Tierney. But make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI across the board. Follow me at KBIZZL311 on the tweet machine, KBIZZLE11 on Instagram and Threads. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave a 5-star rating and review. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Smash the like button. Ring the bell icon. Leave a comment down below with your Phillies wish list for the trade deadline. Be a friend, tell a friend to subscribe. And, of course, guys, get your merch from our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. Go to phiapparel.co and use code UNDERGROUND for 10% off your merch orders. And this show is presented by the City of Vineland, and whether you're a company looking to expand, relocate, or you're a new business startup, selecting the right location is critical to your success. Vineland, New Jersey offers both an affordable business location and an excellent quality of life. The city's economic development department is a one-stop source for moving your project through the development and approval process. And their goal is to make this process as smooth as possible and to provide the fastest turnaround times in the region. If you're considering potential locations for your operation, contact the Vineland Economic Development Team at 856-794-4100. That's 856-794-4100. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. This has been episode number 650 of Underground Sports Philadelphia. I'm your boy KB. Welcome to Philly, Jared McCain. Let's go Phils. Let's go Dogs. I'll catch you guys on the next episode. But until then, I'm getting the heck up out of here. And I'm signing off. Peace.